Peter Rosenberg, and Vlad just invited DJ Akademiks onto his platform to speak about different things. And one of the clips that he put up to promote the entire interview, he drops clips of it, then eventually he drops the full interview. He talks about the fact that Peter Rosenberg is a failure when it comes to business because he was one of the people in the hip-hop culture early on who had a big name, his own brand, a corporate entity backing him, and before podcasts became so dominant, he had a podcast. And basically Vlad was saying that he's a failure because he's not the owner of some podcast corporate conglomerate. And DJ Akademiks chimed in and said, yeah, you know, he worked for Hot 97 and then he also covers WWE wrestling. He's basically a loser. And here's the thing that I don't like about Vlad and other people who have money. Now Vlad, a lot of times in his interviews, he likes to interject personal details about his life. He says things like, wow, man, I don't understand how anybody could be poor. All this money out here and they're not rich. Wow, I'm so rich. Every you know, man, like at first I had $1 million as my goal, and I have a spreadsheet where I can actually detail the progress of how close I am to that goal, and I went to 100. I got to 100% so fast, so I just tripled my goal, and now, you know, hey man, I'm making so many millions of dollars. I'm going over my goals, and I know that Vlad is excited about the fact that he's rich, but he grew up in a rich family, and yes, he worked his way up from the bottom. I guess you could say he was a DJ. I argue that he had a lot of resources and a lot of networking ability because his parents were rich and they gave him startup money. They helped him invest. He had a lot of entertainment resources, lawyers and stuff like that connected to his family. So I don't think that he legitimately started from the bottom, but he did work hard, and I do give him that. But at the end of the day, I hate rich people who talk about the fact that they're rich all the time. I've got a guy who I know. I've got people in my family who have a lot of money, and all they do, literally, when you're around them, all they do is talk about what they got. You know, oh man, I'm getting a new car. I just got a new car, Benny. Come, let me pick you up and take you out to eat so you can see it, man. Every time you sit down with them when you go out to eat, or if you're at the dinner table, or if you're just kicking it with them, you're just sitting there the whole time listening to them tell you what they got, what they're about to do, how they got it, how great they are. And I just don't like people like that, man. And at the end of the day, who is Vlad and Akademiks to say that Peter Rosenberg is a failure in life and a disappointment to his family and his children and his wife or whoever he's dating simply because he doesn't want to aspire to be a top business CEO? He's probably happy doing what he's doing, and I just don't like people who make life all about money. Yes, Vlad, you're at the top of the game when it comes to hip-hop podcasts, but you'll never be Joe Rogan. You will never get that high up in society. You'll always be just a urban guy, and that's because of your attitude. Joe Rogan is very rich, but Joe Rogan never talks about how rich he is. You should never make your show about you. You know, you interview people. If you want to give financial advice and say, hey, look, I made a lot of money, I've got some tips, I've got some advice, that is perfect because your demographic is mostly poor black people. You know, those are the people that you target because your content is about gangbanging, violence, jail time, prison time, people who have been to court for murders. That's the content that you like to focus on. So I guess your target audience would be the urban, poverty-stricken, gangbanging community. So maybe it'll be cool for you to give them some advice on how to achieve upward mobility. But for a guy like me, I don't give a damn about how rich you are. I don't care. If you're giving me financial advice and you're helping me with some skills, advice, previous experience that you may have, connections, resources, I'm all for it. But do I honestly want to see you interviewing a guy, you're talking to this guy about prison time or whatever, however he grew up, and then you just interject in the middle, man, I can't believe you come from a poor neighborhood. Why are people poor? All this money out here? Man, everybody should be rich like me. Then that's just why I can't do Vlad. I try to watch his interviews every now and then, but then he always does that. And I can't do it. I can't. I don't like listening to people talk about themselves 24/7. I'm not that kind of guy. Vlad, you're not that interesting. You're not that amazing. You're not God. You didn't do anything to make the world a better place. Arguably, you made the world a much worse place because now you've made talking about violence, talking about genocide, gangbanging, murder, prison time, federal prison time, state prison time, killing people. You've made that the gold standard of conversational topic, and that's what people have to talk about when they become famous. Instead of talking about positive things, you've changed the conversation into genocide. So, congrats for you.